Hey gang, Chris Angel coming at you for another episode of Marketing for the Rest of Us. It is my last night in Dallas, and was down here for the Master Networks Connect conference. Yeah, so it's been a big week. I mean, we had like 2 full days. I did a breakout session yesterday. The day before that, we had a leadership retreat. So when you go to an event, like the last day is like a decompressed day. So I've had time to go through my journal and all my notes, and I wanted to make sure I came on here to do another episode with you about what one of my takeaways were. Now, there were a ton of topics that came out of the event at Connect. So I will have all sorts of different episodes for you guys based on what I took away from Connect this year. Side note, if you guys have thought about a networking group, Master Networks is a great organization. You guys can find them at masternetworks.com. If you guys are looking for any sort of networking, there may be a local chapter that you could join, or you could even start your own chapter. So either way, that is relevant to my topic tonight, which is one of the things that was said today, actually, as they were sharing sort of the vision of the company, was like, look, we are more than a meeting. And what they meant was like, Master Networks is a networking organization, and what the product, if the most tangible product, is like the chapter meetings, like having a chapter you can join and you show up every week, and we go through an agenda and we have these great conversations. Like that is the most tangible product of Master Networks. It's a weekly meeting, right? And so it's very easy when you have something super tangible to have that be the thing that you talk about, right? Like, oh yeah, like I'm a part of Master Networks. We have this meeting, we go to this meeting, like everything happens at the meeting. And it's interesting, right? Because inside of that, it's easier for people to kind of make some decisions about like, yeah, I want to be a part of a meeting, or no, I don't want to be part of a meeting. But a meeting in the bigger scope of what makes an impact in the world isn't sexy. It's not exciting. It's like, a meeting or not a meeting? Like, do I want to spend an hour of my life every week doing something or not? You understand? Like, and your audience for that meeting is a lot smaller because some people do get it, right? Some people do get the value of having conversation with other businesses and the potential of that turning into business. So there are people who get it, but the buyer pool of that is smaller. So when you look at the concept or the idea of a movement or vision, what is it beyond the meeting, right? That what are we doing here? It's not just that we hang out every week and try to get to know everybody in our local market or in our meeting. There's something bigger happening, right? And so it was a great point today that, we, Master Networks, are more than a weekly meeting. There's a movement happening where we happen to get together in local communities on a weekly basis so that we can have conversations. But there is something bigger about creating a legacy that goes beyond our business, right? And when you start to focus on a bigger conversation than the product, right, which is the meeting, when you focus on a bigger conversation than the product, then what happens is people can start to see where they fit. People can start to see if they want to be a part of the bigger picture, more than just, do I want to spend an hour of my week in conversations with people, right? Do you see like one is more inclusive, one is more attractive, one is easier for me to find myself in, and the other one is sort of just this thing that I can say yes or no to, right? And so first of all, just know that about Master Networks, right? Like there is something bigger happening in the ether, in the community or the conversation of entrepreneurship inside of Master Networks as a community, right? We would say, don't join our chapter, join our community. And that's more inclusive, right? Because joining a chapter, what happens if you don't have a chapter in your local area? Well, you can't join it. Or you could start one, but a lot of people don't want to start one. So then what? Well, you can actually be a member of Master Networks without having a local chapter. And why would you do that? Well, because there's something bigger happening nationally and globally inside the conversation of who are we as business people and what is the legacy beyond our business? There is something else that we as humans can contribute to the world. And it's not just in a weekly meeting talking about our businesses. Do you see? There's something bigger happening. So my first point to you is just if you're interested in having some sort of purpose that transcends just the business that you currently have, then Master Networks would be a good thing for you to check out. But here's how I want to relate it back to marketing for the rest of us, right? I have done this so many times where, and I think it's hard inside your own fishbowl. It's when you're the business person, it's hard to see this. And so this is why going to conferences like Connect, it's good because it gets you outside of your everyday environment and it has you see things that you normally can't see. So here's how it applies to marketing for the rest of us. So many times in our marketing, what we do is we focus on our product or our service. We're like, hey, I have this thing. Do you want to join this thing? Do you want to buy this thing? Right? And it's easy for people to say yes or no. And a lot of times people just say no because they don't need that thing, right? So it stretches you to have to, I'm suggesting that it stretches you to start to think about what is beyond the product or service that, what is beyond that for you? What are you doing in the world that goes beyond the thing you sell? If there is something bigger than the thing you sell, people can find themselves in it and join your community. They can join what you're up to when you have something bigger than just the product or service you sell or you're trying to sell through your marketing. So here's what I want you to see. Marketing, remember, if you go back through any of these other episodes, I always talk about marketing is about relationship. Marketing is about relationship. And so inside of that, if you start to look at like, okay, my marketing isn't just about the product or service. What is beyond the business of what I sell, right? Is there something beyond? Is there a legacy that I could leave, that I could contribute to the planet, that I could inspire in others beyond what it is that I sell? And if there is, and this is what you have to do the soul searching on, but if there is, then that starts to become the platform or the conversation in and through your marketing that you build relationship around. Do you see? So your ability to inspire more people, to attract more people into the legacy you're out to create that goes beyond the business of what you sell, the bigger net you cast, the more people you inspire, the bigger the tribe gets. So we have to start thinking about in a very practical way in our marketing. Our marketing goes beyond what we sell. And I know a lot where most people get stuck, and I've done this a ton, where most of us get stuck in marketing is we're like, what do I say about my product? What do I say about this thing that I sell? I don't know, so I don't say anything. But that's the problem, right? Because your soul, listen, effective marketing is going to come from your soul, not from your head, right? It's going to come from your gut. It's going to come from your soul because that's what inspires. Your head does not inspire. Your soul does inspire. And so this is why you have to start to reach into your soul, because I promise you there's already something in your soul. There's already a legacy in your soul that goes beyond the business of what you sell. And if you can tap into that and start to share that through your marketing, now you can invite people to join your community, to join your cause, to join your legacy, right? Right? That's what this show, you see that with this show. Marketing for the rest of us isn't about me selling you my marketing agency services, though you could do that. This is a bigger conversation for us as entrepreneurs who want to feel connected to the message we broadcast out to the world, such that it produces a result and makes a difference out there. That's what this show's about. The conversation I'm inviting you to the conversation of how do we embody our soul and a legacy inside of our marketing? Because if you do that, then your legacy spreads, because marketing by its very nature is the thing that goes out into the world. Without marketing, it just all sits in your head. Or if you're networking, fine, it's going to exist in a smaller container because you can only do so much networking in the hours given in a week. Marketing is the X factor that takes your message and pushes it out into the world. It's the X factor. But it's not an X factor if the message of your marketing isn't congruent with what your soul is really up to. And that's why I created this show, because I know that for us who don't want to chase algorithms, who don't want to go play by the rules of social media platforms, for those of us who really want to make a real connection, is there some other way for us to market? I believe there is, and that's what this show is, and that this is a conversation that I'm inviting you to, right? And as I invite you to that conversation, you hopefully will have a spark. Something will spark, and you'll be like, I see what my legacy is and how to use marketing to share that and invite people into that conversation to join your community. Because you are more than your product, and we are more than just a meeting, right? At Master Networks, it's more than a meeting. And in your business, it's more than your product or service. There's a bigger conversation alive, and what I want you to start to do is use your marketing to tap into and play with what that difference is. Okay? All right, gang, that's it. I mean, it's 10 o'clock here in Dallas time. I'm going to cut you loose. You guys can go look and see what we do for marketing and how we help you spread your message at mygroundswell.com. I definitely would invite you to work with us, right, for how to spread your important work in the world. That's what we do. That's why I created that agency, because I realized people were getting stuck in marketing, right? And we help you do, we make that so easy for you. And you can go to mygroundswell.com to check that out. But for now, I'm going to cut you loose. Have a great evening. I will see you tomorrow for another episode of Marketing for the Rest of Us. I should be back in my hometown of Spokane by tomorrow. So until then, good night and see you later. If I can turn off my camera.